Alright fellas, we're back in our Pokemon Masters video. We got ourselves the overview here for Gordie and Barbaracle. Variety Gordie, of course. Pretty late in the month for these guys to be coming out. Him and Melanie coming out in 2 days, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is, right? So, how good is Gordie? He's a character. I mean, okay. I'm gonna be flat out with you though. I just want to be completely truthful. I am a full supporter in believing that Gordie is just better than Samson. Honestly, because Gordie does his job as a support effectively. Samson, he's not a support. He tries to be, but he's just not good at it. Gordie actually works well as a support, even if he doesn't do much unique, which we'll go into that. So, all right, look at his stats. Level 150, 5 stars here. He's got 317 in both defenses, 707 HP. Good stats for defensive-wise overall. Good speed too, surprisingly, but all right. With 6-star EX and I'm not gonna do his EX roll for now. We'll just say 6-star EX. 357 in both defenses, 807 HP, 390 speed. These are good stats. I mean, these are pretty solid defensive stats. Tech EX roll does bump up pretty much all of those up besides the speed itself. So he's got like 250 offenses, which is not great, but you know, whatever. He's not trying to hit hard. He's got good HP, good defenses, and of course he's a support tech character, right? Tech, you know, not the craziest thing for him, but it's a stat buff, so if you're looking to make this guy stronger defensively, there you go. I mean, good stats all around. He's got Rock Tomb, which is only really good for debuffing speed. Potion here for HP recovery, already really good. Potions are amazing, as always. Huge Boulder Iron Defense activates whenever the user uses any move once, deactivated when used. It is 3 uses, 1 gauge, hits all allies. It raises all allies' defenses by 2, and increases allies' moves up next by 1. Both special and physical. So this makes him a good general enhansive support, which by the way, let's just go here. Train a move. Raises all allies' offenses by 2 and crit by 3. This is good as well. Most characters can buff their offensive stats. This is 9 times out of 10 going to be a top off on that, and of course buff and crit, good for that as well. And then he's got the maxing of all defenses for himself and the team, and he's got the moves up next increases for a little bit of offensive enhancement, and I guess like, you know, speed debuffs are here too. So that's cool. And then potions again as well for HP recovery. So like this is a solid base. Like there's nothing crazy here, nothing spectacular or, you know, uber noteworthy, but it's all good. You want defensive buffs, you want offensive buffs, you want offensive enhancement, and you want consistent HP recovery. Gordie applies all of that. Only thing so far is gauge, which I think is an actual issue for him, but we'll go over that later. He's got all ally crit power up 1, powers up allies attacks when they become critical hits. This is just a free, flat-out 10% buff. This may as well be a master passive for the guy. The way that this passive is just effectively here to exist. Like, there is very few universes where you're going to be unable to crit with this guy as your support. I mean, literally just if the enemy has crit shields and you don't have a way to bypass through. That's basically it. Or they have, like, vigilance, right? But if you have, like, passive protection, then, or, like, piercing blows, then, well, you could hit through that anyway. So yeah, this is pretty much a universal power buff. It's a 10% power up for not only your attacking moves, but your sync moves as well. This says all ally crit power up. This is literal team critical strike right here. Very, very good. 10 out of 10 passive, no notes. Quick tempo, applies gauge acceleration on entry. This isn't terrible, but sad part a lot of times that gauge acceleration is needed. It's going to be later in the fight, not earlier, because earlier in the fight you're setting up, you're getting your stuff ready, you're not using as much gauge as you would be later on in the fight, meaning that this stuff not being later in the fight is a little crappy. Also, he's got vigilance for crit protection, good stuff, but I'm not big on quick tempo, and also if you don't do sync acceleration, this can, I'm pretty sure, screw over your sync countdown. Or like your ability to quad queue, because if the field effect goes out the moment you're using your sync move, the enemy can queue up a move. It's pretty bad, but I'm pretty sure that plays into that a little bit. Doesn't seem he has any special lucky cookie of his own. Pretty sure healthy healing is like the base default one, so okay, whatever, doesn't really matter, it's not a big deal. So yeah, base kit, look, okay, I want to keep something, I want to keep something to be said here. I want something to be said. I'm not going to advocate pulling for Gordie because, like, he is super good at doing, you know, the bare, like, basically what you would want a support to do. We've got Larry who can do the same thing. Like, Larry can buff defenses, he can debuff offenses. He doesn't buff, like, offensive stats or crit. Well, he can buff offensive stats here, but he doesn't buff, like, crit. But, like, that's fine. If you're wanting a support to go for this month, go for Larry. Larry's just going to be far better for, like, leaning into one area. All I want to say is that I'm advocating Gordie is better than friggin' Samson, and Gordie is like not a terrible support at all. He's really not. It's just that he doesn't do anything special, like super special, and being a limited unit, obviously you wouldn't want to go for him just because of that. Like, this guy would be a great general pool support, amazing general pool support, not really a character you'll want to go for. Yeah, not really a character you're going to want to go for while he's limited, just because he doesn't do anything super special. But it doesn't mean he's bad, because he's not. If the gems weren't a factor, this guy would be pretty solid, just in general. But anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. So overall, free 10% power buff here. Some moves up next, some maxing out of the ally's defenses. Of course, the only bad thing about this to me is that he can't renew this. Like, you know, he doesn't have like MPR or anything like that for this move. So if enemies debuff your defenses, well, you can't really do much about that, right? Unless you have like impervious. But other than that, it's a good move. All ally offense is getting topped off is good. Potion healing is amazing. I mean, yeah, like these are legitimately good abilities. 1 out of 5 in the grid, he's got just Sand Shelter and Rock Tomb Gauge Refresh. The Gauge Refresh is nice because, again, he doesn't have any gauge managing abilities. That is his biggest weakness right now, is no gauge stuff. 2 out of 5, he gets Group Moral Support and Group Pep Talk here on the trainer move, as well as trainer move NPR. These tiles all can play pretty well hand in hand if you just want to fish for an NPR and max allies offenses in 2 turns. If that's what you want to go for, you can. If a character you have that needs that, that's going to be helpful. Rock Tomb Trip Up for double speed debuffs. If you want to run him to help out with those Cakewalk units, he's a pretty good supportive option for that. Again, general enhancements, a 10% supportive ability here, which goes to moves and sync moves. You know, he's not going to be a terrible option for any general team, especially those that may want Cakewalk. So Rock Tomb Trip Up is nice for those faster debuffs. Gauge Refresh 4 for a 50% Gauge Refresh chance on using his Buddy move. That's nice. It's not very gauge consumptuous anyway, but hey, you know, it is good to have some extra gauge stuff here. And then the real reason you're going to want a 2 out of 5 him is Potion, NPR, and Master Healer. I mean, if you're going to pick up this guy at all, you're going to want to at least give him to 2 out of 5 so you can pick up NPR for the potions and Master Healer as well, just so he has that full capability of being able to like abuse potions and heal allies consistently, right? I would recommend 3 out of 5 for double potion NPR, but alas. So yeah, I mean, be able to max out offenses here and like refresh for the NPR to do that is very good here at 2 out of 5. Extra speed debuffs, a little bit of extra gauge stuff, and then the potion stuff here is very good as well. So overall, pretty good 2 out of 5 for him. 3 out of 5, again, potion NPR and Master Healer here as well. I would not pick up a double node of Master Healer, but I would pick up the double potion NPR here and 1 node of Master Healer. I mean, this is just probably the best way to go about doing so. Yeah, you're going to want those double NPRs if you've got him 3 out of 5. Head Start 1 is pretty decent for some sync countdown. Could be helpful if your whole team can do a lot of sync countdown stuff, like maybe pair him up with Signasuit Diantha and then whatever else is a third, maybe like Champion Silver, you know, just an idea of like a rock team that can use the Cakewalk multipliers. And well, the Head Start 1 could be good for sync countdown on that team. Sync move, Team HP Recovery 1, giving allies 20% HP recovery after using a sync move. This is not initial synchro healing. This is every time he uses a sync move. It's a good gauntlet ability, and at the same time, I mean, it's just extra healing for him. You're going to want to sync with him for support EX anyway, so being able to get that in and get some 20% HP is good. Less potions you have to use, potentially, so pretty helpful tile. Impervious, kind of what I was going with earlier. I wish it was Team Impervious. That would have been really good. But hey, Impervious for himself, preventing those debuffs of his defenses once he has actually buffed them is very good for a lot of stages. So good to see. Rock Tomb, Overwhelm 9 for attack debuffs, extra offensive or defensive enhancement for yourself. You got potions, defensive buffs, attack debuffs. No special attack, but physical attack is still good, right? And this can also activate multipliers like Power Posture, Power Play, Pecking Order. Yeah, Pecking Order, stuff like that. So if you have allies that need those attack debuffs for multipliers, he can debuff both speed and attack. One benefitter I would say is Getsus, but also Getsus wants gauge stuff, so yeah, just something to consider there, right? It's just an idea kind of to be thrown out there. Initial guard, applying damage guard on entry. If the enemy, if you know the enemy's doing like a big massive attack or something, this is good. Like, you know, this could make him a solid support character for Nolan's ultimate battle, just like a, you know, a niche thing to kind of bring in there. He could be good for it. Just kind of want to point that out. And then his trainer move. Yeah, okay. Trainer move, team, physical, and special moves up next, buffing them whenever the trainer uses a move. This is good. I mean, if you can get the NPR for this, you can constantly be refreshing that. Get yourself those moves up next. On top of the moves up next, you can get from using his iron defense here. That is like up to +4, +5, +6 if you're lucky, physical and special moves up next for your team, and alternating pretty much every other turn, assuming he doesn't have to use potions or Rock Tomb. That's pretty good levels of enhancement for both special and physical allies. And that's mostly what I'm trying to like bring with this guy is like, if you want to go for him, then, you know, there's some decent reasons to. I wouldn't summon him simply because he's a very decent general supportive character, but there are definitely far better ones to go for. He's not like a meta defining support. It's just that everything he does is very like well put together and just very simple. Like potions, defense debuffs, moves up next enhancement, general 10% power buff, already built in crit protection so you can run whatever as a lucky skill, gauge refresh, healthy healing, or like, you know, a guard passive against specific like weakness enemies. He's got offensive buffs here for the whole team, being able to top off stats or max them out if you want to go for NPR. Crit, +3 crit in 1 turn, obviously pretty helpful too if your, you know, characters can't really buff their own crit. Moves up next, pretty much. I mean, if you can pick it up here and you can get the NPR, then while you're getting like, again, +4, +5, +6, moves up next. Very consistent and solid healing with the potion NPRs. You know, this guy's got a lot that's kind of going for him. He's able to do some good offensive buffing, good defensive buffing, good debuffing here with attack and speed, being able to do a little bit of sync countdown, again, good HP recovery. Very solid support in general, in my opinion. I don't think there's much else really to bring with Gordie. I think he's not a support I think can specialize too much in one specific area. Of course, maybe you're like, oh, I want a support that can debuff speed, and well, like he's really good at that, and then making sure the team stays alive, like, you know, legitimately good at that role. But it's like he's more of a general support character to kind of like sub in a slot where like your team is fully sufficient in the roles that they need, but they just need one support that can just keep them alive long enough to do what they need to do, and Gordie can kind of provide that. Like, I want to say I would not bring him over Larry in the example I'm about to give, but like an example of a case where you have like Anniversary Skyla and Champion Charon. There's a lot of good supports you can bring over, like, you know, Champion Blue, Larry, fucking whoever. But if you don't have these supports, if you don't have like Champion Rose or whatever, and you happen to have Gordie just fits in. He's got this, Skyla's providing the speed for the team, so he's good on gauge, but he's going to be able to provide them both with the defenses that they need to survive, the healing they need to survive, and be able to max out, in this case, like Skyla's offensive stats, where her buffing is not very good, and also top off both of Charon's offensive stats as well. Just an example, obviously, you know, there are better supports for the job, always will be, and that's why I'm saying you probably shouldn't go for Gordie, because, you know, you don't really need him if you have, like, the better supports available, especially, like, top-tier ones like Arxu Steven, Champion Blue, Champion Rosa, etc., right? But he can be a very good fill-in role for those characters if you do plan to get him, and you don't have, like, these specific characters for specific roles, or again, just need a general support that can take a hit and help provide the team's defenses. Only thing he really needs is someone who can help manage gauge for him, because he's not really that great at it. His speed's not bad, his like gauge usage is not that bad, but you know, and that really is going to depend on your partners. If you're partnering up with like 4 gauge move users, you're going to want some sort of gauge help for sure. You know, but just something to consider. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Variety Gordie. Let me know what you all think about him down in the comments below. And yeah, I'll see you later, and I hope you all enjoyed. Peace.